Have you ever been woken up in the middle of the night with that sharp, twisting pain in your calf or thigh? That cramp that makes you want to jump out of bed, but you can't move because it feels like your leg has turned into a rock. If you know what I'm talking about, you're not alone. Leg cramps are extremely common, especially as we get older. They can show up when you're sleeping, when you're walking, or even just sitting quietly. And while they might last only a few seconds or minutes, they can leave your muscles sore for hours, even days. But here's the good news. What you eat has a huge impact on how often you get these cramps, how severe they are, and how quickly your legs recover. In fact, there are certain foods that can actually strengthen your legs from the inside out and help prevent those painful cramps altogether. So today I'm going to share the top 3 foods that seniors should be eating regularly if you want strong, cramp-free legs. And trust me, these aren't exotic or hard to find foods. They're simple, tasty, and easy to add to your meals starting today. Stick with me until the end, because I'll also give you a bonus tip that ties everything together and makes these foods work even better for your body. Before we dive into the first food, let's quickly talk about why cramps even happen. Most of the time, they're caused by imbalances in minerals like potassium, magnesium, and calcium, minerals that help your muscles contract and relax smoothly. When you don't get enough of them, or when your body loses too much through sweat, medications, or dehydration, your muscles misfire and spasm. That's your cramp. So the trick is to keep your body stocked with the right nutrients in the right balance. And the best way to do that is with food. Let's start with the first powerhouse food, bananas. You probably knew this one was coming, right? Bananas are famous for being packed with potassium, and potassium is one of the key players in preventing cramps. But here's what most people don't realize. Bananas also have natural sugars and fiber that give you steady energy, plus a little bit of magnesium and vitamin B6. This combination doesn't just help your muscles, it also supports your nerves, which are the signals that tell your muscles when to contract and relax. I always tell people, if you're someone who wakes up with night cramps, try having half a banana as an evening snack. It's light, it's gentle on the stomach, and it's giving your muscles what they need right before you head to bed. If you don't like bananas on their own, slice one into some oatmeal, blend it in a smoothie, or even freeze it and eat it like a creamy dessert. The point is, make it easy, make it enjoyable, and keep that potassium flowing. Potassium alone isn't enough. Your muscles also need magnesium. Think of potassium and magnesium like best friends. They work together to keep your muscles calm and balanced. And the best natural source of magnesium? Spinach. Yes, that humble green leafy vegetable you probably overlooked when you were younger. Spinach is a superstar for seniors. 1 cup of cooked spinach gives you almost 40% of your daily magnesium needs. That's huge. And magnesium is what helps muscles relax after they contract. Without enough magnesium, your muscles get stuck in that tight, crampy state. Plus, spinach gives you vitamin K, which strengthens your bones, and iron, which carries oxygen to your muscles so they don't tire out as quickly. I love suggesting spinach in soups, stir, fries, or even blended into a smoothie with that banana we just talked about. You won't even taste it in a smoothie, but your muscles will feel the difference. If spinach isn't your favorite, you can swap it with other leafy greens like kale or Swiss chard. The idea is to get those dark greens in regularly because they are one of the most natural forms of muscle support you can eat. Alright, now we've covered potassium and magnesium, but there's one more mineral that people often forget, and it's just as important: calcium. Calcium isn't only for bones, it's also essential for muscle function. Without enough calcium, your muscles can't contract properly, which leads to cramps and weakness. And the best food to get your calcium: yogurt. Plain, unsweetened yogurt is fantastic because it's rich in calcium, high in protein, and also has probiotics that keep your gut healthy. A healthy gut means your body can actually absorb the nutrients you're eating instead of just passing them through. For seniors especially, that's critical. As we age, our ability to absorb nutrients naturally declines, so giving your gut that probiotic boost from yogurt makes all the difference. If you're lactose intolerant or don't enjoy dairy, there are great alternatives like fortified almond milk, soy yogurt, or even canned sardines with bones, which are an amazing calcium source. But if you tolerate yogurt, make it a habit. A small bowl in the morning with berries, or as an afternoon snack with a drizzle of honey, and you're feeding your muscles exactly what they need to stay strong and cramp-free. Let's bring it all together. Bananas for potassium, spinach for magnesium, and yogurt for calcium. 3 simple foods, 3 powerful nutrients, and 3 ways to keep your legs stronger, steadier, and free from those painful cramps. And remember what I promised you earlier, the bonus tip. Here it is. All of these foods work best when you're also hydrated. Water is the vehicle that carries potassium, magnesium, and calcium to your muscles. Without enough water, your body can't use these minerals properly, no matter how much you eat. So make sure you're drinking steadily throughout the day. Not just when you're thirsty, but consistently. If plain water feels boring, add a slice of lemon, a few cucumber slices, or even brew some herbal tea. The point is to keep your muscles bathed in the right balance of fluids and minerals. That's the true secret to preventing cramps. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Do I have to eat these foods every single day? The answer is no, but you should make them regular players in your diet. A banana here, a spinach salad there, some yogurt during the week. It all adds up. Your body doesn't need perfection, it needs consistency. And the best part is, these foods don't just fight cramps. They also support heart health, improve digestion, boost your energy, and keep your bones stronger. That's the beauty of nourishing your body naturally. Here's my challenge for you. Starting today, pick just one of these foods and add it to your routine. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Just start small and notice how your legs feel over the next week. I can almost guarantee you'll feel the difference. Then, as it becomes a habit, layer in the other foods. Before you know it, you'll have a simple, powerful routine that's keeping your legs stronger and healthier with every bite. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. What's the worst cramp you've ever had? And which of these foods are you going to try first? I love hearing your stories, and it also helps others in our community feel like they're not alone. And if you want more natural tips like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we've got so much more coming your way on how to age strong, stay active, and feel your best every single day. When people think about nutrition, they often imagine it in pieces. Potassium for cramps, calcium for bones, protein for muscles, and so on. But the truth is, your body doesn't work in isolated chunks. It doesn't take one nutrient and say, okay, I'll use this today and forget the rest. Instead, your body works like an orchestra. Every mineral, every vitamin, every macronutrient has its own role, and when they're all in harmony, that's when the magic happens. That's what food synergy is all about. It's about understanding that certain foods don't just bring their own benefits, they actually amplify each other when they're eaten together. And when it comes to strengthening your legs, and preventing cramps. This idea of food synergy becomes even more powerful. Let's break down what happens when you eat foods that complement each other. Take potassium and magnesium, for example. Potassium helps your muscles contract properly, while magnesium helps them relax. If you're missing one, the other can't do its job effectively. If you only focus on potassium, but you never get enough magnesium, your muscles will contract, but won't relax the way they should. That's where cramps come from. But when you eat a banana for potassium alongside spinach for magnesium, you're giving your body the complete cycle of contraction and relaxation. That's food synergy in action. The same is true for calcium and vitamin D. Calcium strengthens bones and plays a role in nerve signaling and muscle control, but your body can't absorb calcium well without vitamin D. So if you're eating yogurt for calcium, but you never get sunlight or foods rich in vitamin D, you're not getting the full effect. Now, imagine pairing your yogurt with fortified orange juice, or having it as part of a breakfast after spending some time in the morning sun. Suddenly, your calcium is being absorbed more efficiently, and your muscles and bones actually benefit from the food you're eating. That's another example of synergy. Think about protein too. Protein provides the building blocks for muscles, and that's essential for leg strength. But protein doesn't do its job in isolation either. It needs vitamins like B6 and B12 to be metabolized properly. It needs iron to carry oxygen to the muscles, and it even benefits from antioxidants like vitamin C, which help repair tissues and reduce inflammation. If you're eating yogurt, which gives you protein, and you add berries on top, you're not just eating something tasty. You're creating a synergistic meal where the protein helps build muscle, the vitamin C from the berries helps repair it, and the probiotics from the yogurt improve absorption. Hydration is part of this synergy too. You can eat all the potassium, magnesium, and calcium you want, but without enough fluids in your system, those minerals don't travel effectively to your muscles. Water is like the highway that carries nutrients where they need to go. So when you eat hydrating foods like watermelon or cucumbers alongside your mineral-rich foods, you're doubling up on the delivery system. You're not just putting nutrients into your body, you're ensuring they actually get where they need to be. This is why balanced meals matter so much more than single foods or supplements. Let's say you take a magnesium pill. Sure, it gives you magnesium, but it doesn't give you the fiber, the vitamin K, the antioxidants, or the natural water content that comes with eating spinach. And when you eat that spinach in a salad with tomatoes, avocado, and maybe some grilled salmon, you're creating a network of nutrients. The healthy fats from the avocado and salmon help you absorb the fat, soluble vitamins in the spinach. The vitamin C in the tomatoes helps with iron absorption, and the magnesium in the spinach supports muscle relaxation. Every piece of that meal is boosting another piece. That's why food synergy is far more powerful than any single nutrient on its own. When we're talking specifically about seniors and leg strength, food synergy becomes even more important. As we age, our digestive systems aren't as efficient, our absorption of nutrients slows down, and we often take medications that deplete certain vitamins and minerals. For example, common blood pressure medications can cause your body to lose potassium. Diuretics can flush out magnesium. Even just the natural aging process makes it harder for your stomach to produce the acid needed to absorb vitamin B12. So it's not just about eating enough of one nutrient. It's about creating meals where multiple nutrients support each other and compensate for those age-related changes. That's what helps your legs stay strong, flexible, and cramp-free. Here's a practical example of food synergy for stronger legs. Imagine a breakfast of oatmeal topped with sliced banana, a spoonful of yogurt, and a sprinkle of walnuts. The oatmeal gives you slow digesting carbs for steady energy and fiber to keep your digestion moving. The banana adds potassium for muscle contractions. The yogurt adds calcium and protein. The walnuts bring in healthy fats and magnesium. Together, that bowl is doing far more than any one ingredient could do alone. It's supporting your muscles, your bones, your energy, and even your gut health, all in one meal. Or think about a dinner plate with grilled salmon, sautéed spinach, and roasted sweet potatoes. The salmon provides high-quality protein and vitamin D, which helps with calcium absorption. The spinach brings magnesium and iron, and when it's cooked with a bit of olive oil, you absorb more of its fat, soluble nutrients. The sweet potatoes give you potassium and beta-carotene, which is an antioxidant that reduces inflammation in your muscles. So now you're not just eating for taste, you're eating for synergy. Every item on that plate is working with the others to create stronger legs and a healthier body. Another beautiful part of food synergy is how it reduces inflammation, which is a huge factor in leg cramps and muscle weakness. Inflammation makes muscles more sensitive, nerves more irritable, and joints more painful. But when you combine foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and minerals, you're fighting inflammation naturally. Think about pairing olive oil with leafy greens, or berries with yogurt, or nuts with fruit. The antioxidants from one food neutralize free radicals, while the healthy fats from another food make those antioxidants more available to your cells. The result is calmer, less inflamed muscles that are less likely to cramp. It's also worth mentioning that synergy happens not only between foods, but between food and lifestyle. If you eat calcium-rich yogurt, but you're never physically active, your body has less reason to deposit calcium in your bones. But if you eat yogurt and then go for a walk, the weight-bearing exercise tells your body, hey, strengthen these bones, we need them. That's synergy between diet and movement. The same is true with hydration. If you eat potassium-rich foods, but don't drink water, the potassium can't circulate properly. If you drink water, but don't eat the foods, the water alone won't stop cramps. But when you combine them, you create the environment where your muscles thrive. Another overlooked area of food synergy is gut health. Your intestines are where nutrients get absorbed. So if your gut isn't healthy, you're not getting the full benefit of your food. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and other probiotic foods bring beneficial bacteria into your gut. These bacteria help break down foods and unlock nutrients. Pairing probiotics with fiber, rich foods like bananas or oats, provides what's called prebiotics. Basically, the food that those bacteria thrive on. That combination creates a healthier gut, which means more minerals and vitamins actually make it into your bloodstream and eventually into your leg muscles. The timing of when you eat can also influence synergy. For example, having protein soon after light strength exercises helps your muscles repair faster. If you do some light walking or resistance training and then have a smoothie with yogurt, spinach, and banana, you're not only refueling your body, but also giving it exactly what it needs at the exact moment it's most ready to use it. That's timing synergy. Seniors often find that eating smaller, balanced meals more frequently helps them absorb nutrients better than having 1 or 2 large meals a day. Each of those small meals can be an opportunity for synergy, combining minerals, proteins, healthy fats, and fluids in a way that supports your legs. Even simple snacks can take advantage of synergy. A handful of almonds with a piece of fruit pairs magnesium and healthy fats with vitamin C and natural sugars for energy. Cheese with apple slices combines protein, calcium, and antioxidants. A boiled egg with a side of cherry tomatoes gives you protein, vitamin D and vitamin C. None of these are complicated, but each pairing is far more effective than eating the foods alone. When you start looking at food this way, you realize it's not about single superfoods, it's about super combinations. It's about making small choices that add up to big results. It's about choosing meals and snacks where every ingredient has a role to play and where those roles overlap and enhance each other. For seniors especially, this is the key to keeping your legs strong and resilient, because your muscles, bones, and nerves don't work in isolation, and neither should your nutrition. The real strength comes when everything is working together, and that's exactly what food synergy gives you. When it comes to eating healthy, one of the biggest struggles people face is this idea that you have to be perfect. You know the feeling. You start a new diet. You promise yourself you'll never eat sweets again. You fill your fridge with all the so-called perfect foods. And for a few days you're doing great. Then life happens. You go to a birthday party, you eat a piece of cake, and suddenly you feel like you failed. Or maybe you skip your spinach one day, or you forget to have that banana before bed, and you start telling yourself, well, I ruined it. What's the point? This all or nothing thinking is one of the biggest reasons people give up on healthier eating. And that's why consistency is far more important than perfection when it comes to your diet, especially if your goal is preventing cramps, strengthening your legs, and feeling good in your body as you age. Here's the truth. Your body doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't keep score like, oh, you ate spinach 4 days in a row, gold star, but you missed yesterday, so too bad. That's not how your muscles, bones, or nerves work. What they respond to is the bigger picture. What they respond to is what you do most of the time, not what you do every single time. If you eat foods rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium regularly, your body will have the reserves it needs to prevent cramps and keep your legs strong. If you miss a day, or you have a treat that doesn't perfectly fit into the plan, it's not going to erase all the good you've been doing. Think about it like exercise. If you walk 3 times a week, you're going to feel stronger, more flexible, and more balanced. But if you miss one walk, does that mean you've lost all your progress? Of course not. It's the same with food. One choice doesn't make or break you. What matters is the pattern over weeks and months. That's why consistency beats perfection every single time. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 people. One person tries to be perfect. They cut out every food they think is bad. They never allow themselves any flexibility. And they push themselves to follow strict rules. The other person focuses on consistency. They eat mostly whole foods. They make sure to include bananas, spinach, yogurt, and other nutrient-rich options several times a week. But they also allow room for the occasional dessert or favorite comfort food. Now fast forward 6 months. Who do you think will still be following their plan? It's almost always the second person. The first person will burn out, feel deprived, and end up back where they started. The second person will still be going because consistency is sustainable and perfection is not. Your body thrives on routines, not rigid rules. If you regularly give it the minerals and nutrients it needs, your muscles get into a rhythm. Your nerves fire smoothly, your circulation improves, your bones stay strong, and your recovery from cramps or soreness is faster. This doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being steady. And here's something people forget. Your body is incredibly forgiving. If you fall off track for a few days, it doesn't mean you've undone all your progress. The moment you get back to your routine, your body starts responding again. That's why the most powerful mindset you can have is not, I have to be perfect, but I just need to keep showing up. Let's put this into real world practice. Say you've decided to eat more potassium-rich foods because you know they help prevent cramps. You don't need to have a banana every single day at the exact same time. Maybe some days you have a banana, maybe other days it's an orange, or a baked potato, or some avocado. Each one brings potassium to the table, and as long as you're consistent in including those kinds of foods, your muscles are going to benefit. You can rotate, you can adjust, you can be flexible. That's the beauty of consistency. It's not rigid, it's adaptable. Another example is calcium. Maybe you like yogurt, maybe you don't. Maybe one week you're all about yogurt bowls with berries, and the next week you're leaning more on fortified plant milk or cheese or even canned salmon. That's still consistency. You're still feeding your body calcium regularly, even if it doesn't look exactly the same every time. And by allowing yourself that flexibility, you're more likely to keep it up long term. Now, a lot of seniors tell me they struggle with cravings or they feel guilty if they eat something sweet. Here's what I always say: don't focus on perfection. Focus on balance. If you enjoy a piece of chocolate or a cookie now, and then that doesn't cancel out the spinach you ate at lunch or the yogurt you had at breakfast. In fact, when you allow yourself small pleasures without guilt, you're more likely to stick to the bigger plan. That's consistency at work. It's about creating a diet that feels realistic and enjoyable, not one that feels like punishment. Consistency also shows up in timing. Your muscles don't care if you get the perfect meal at the perfect hour every single day. What they care about is that they regularly receive the nutrients they need. If you have your yogurt in the morning today and in the afternoon tomorrow, that's fine. If you sometimes forget your spinach at lunch, but add it to dinner, that's fine too. Your body is flexible. The key is that you keep feeding it those important nutrients often enough that your reserves stay strong. Here's another important point. Perfection makes people afraid of mistakes. Consistency embraces them. If you think you have to be perfect, one slip feels like failure, and failure makes people quit. But if you're focused on consistency, a slip is just part of the process. It's a bump in the road, not the end of the journey. And that mindset shift makes all the difference. It allows you to keep going, to build momentum, and to actually see results. Consistency also helps with building habits. When you do something over and over, it becomes second nature. If you get into the habit of adding leafy greens to your dinner most nights, it stops feeling like a chore. If you get used to grabbing a banana as a snack instead of chips, it becomes automatic. That habit building is what leads to lasting change. Perfection doesn't build habits because it's too rigid to stick with. But consistency, even in small steps, builds habits that last for years. Think about how this ties directly to leg strength and cramp prevention. If you only eat magnesium-rich foods once in a while, your body doesn't get enough to keep your muscles relaxed consistently. But if you eat them regularly, even in small amounts, your magnesium levels stay balanced and your muscles stay calmer. The same goes for hydration. If you only drink water when you're already thirsty, it's too late. But if you sip steadily throughout the day, even if you don't always hit a perfect number of glasses, your body stays hydrated and your muscles work better. Consistency is also about looking at weeks and months, not just days. Some days will be better than others. That's normal. But if you zoom out and look at your average week, are you generally eating a mix of fruits, vegetables, protein, and whole foods? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. That's consistency. And over months, that's what leads to stronger legs, fewer cramps, and better health overall. One of the best ways to stay consistent is to keep things simple. If your diet plan is too complicated, you won't stick with it. If it requires special ingredients every day or long recipes or strict rules, it becomes overwhelming. But if you build a small set of reliable meals you enjoy and you rotate them, you'll naturally create consistency. For example, oatmeal with fruit, yogurt with nuts, a spinach omelette, grilled salmon with vegetables. Those are simple, repeatable meals that cover your nutrient bases. You don't need perfection. You just need reliable options you can lean on again and again. Another key part of consistency is giving yourself grace. There will be holidays, birthdays, vacations, and stressful days, and you will eat things that aren't on your ideal plan. That's life. But instead of feeling guilty, remind yourself that one meal or one day doesn't define you. What defines you is what you return to most of the time. If you go on vacation and eat differently for a week, the moment you're back home, you can slide right back into your normal routine. That's consistency, and that's what matters. Consistency also builds trust with your body. When you regularly provide it with the nutrients it needs, your body learns it can rely on you. It doesn't have to hold on to excess water or feel stressed because it's not sure when the next dose of magnesium or calcium is coming. It gets into a rhythm, and that rhythm shows up in your energy levels, your muscle function, and your overall well-being. That's why so many people notice fewer cramps, better sleep, and steadier energy after just a few weeks of consistent eating. It's not magic. It's simply giving your body the steady support it craves. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds over time. Every banana, every bowl of spinach, every serving of yogurt adds up. At first, you might not notice much, but over weeks and months, those small, consistent choices turn into real, noticeable changes. Your legs feel stronger, you recover from activity faster, and those painful nighttime cramps start to fade. It's like drops of water filling a bucket. Each drop doesn't seem like much, but keep dropping water in, and eventually the bucket fills. That's exactly how consistency works with your diet. And here's something else people don't always think about. Consistency doesn't just affect your physical health. It affects your mindset. When you prove to yourself that you can keep showing up, even imperfectly, your confidence grows. You stop seeing food as a battle and start seeing it as support. You start to believe in your ability to take care of yourself. That mindset shift is just as important as the nutrients themselves, because when you believe you can do it, you keep going. Consistency also allows for variety, which keeps things interesting. Perfection often means eating the same foods over and over because you're afraid of making a mistake. But consistency means you can experiment. Maybe one week you try lentils as a protein source, another week it's fish, another week it's chicken. They all fit into the bigger picture of balanced eating. This variety keeps your meals enjoyable, prevents boredom, and ensures you're getting a wider range of nutrients. And when food is enjoyable, you stick with it longer. Consistency means choosing progress over pressure. It means aiming to get better little by little, instead of holding yourself to an impossible standard. It means celebrating the small wins, like drinking an extra glass of water or choosing fruit instead of chips, or adding spinach to your omelette. Each of those choices may seem small, but together they're building stronger legs and better muscle function and a healthier body. That's the real power of consistency. When most people think about leg cramps or muscle health, their minds immediately go to food. They think about bananas for potassium, spinach for magnesium, yogurt for calcium, maybe some protein for strength. And while all of those nutrients are incredibly important, there's a piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked. And it's one of the simplest, most accessible tools we have. That piece is hydration. Water isn't just something you drink when you're thirsty. It's the actual delivery system for everything else your body needs. Without enough water, the potassium from your banana, the magnesium from your spinach, the calcium from your yogurt, they can't do their jobs. It's like having a car full of fuel, but no roads to drive on. The minerals and vitamins are your fuel, but water is the road that carries them where they need to go. Think about what happens in your body every time you take a sip of water. That water doesn't just sit in your stomach. It gets absorbed into your bloodstream, and once it's there, it helps transport nutrients to every cell, every nerve, every muscle fiber. Your muscles rely on electrolytes like potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium to contract and relax smoothly. Those electrolytes are like tiny messengers, and they move through your body dissolved in fluid. If you don't have enough fluid, those messengers can't travel effectively, and that's when you start to feel cramps, fatigue, or weakness in your legs. When you're dehydrated, even just a little bit, your blood volume decreases. That means your circulation slows down, your heart has to work harder, and your muscles aren't getting the oxygen and nutrients they need. It's not always dramatic. You might not feel dizzy or faint, but you'll notice little signs. Your legs might feel heavier when you walk. You might cramp more often at night. Your recovery after exercise might feel slower. That's the silent way dehydration chips away at muscle health. You might be eating all the right foods, but without water, those foods don't reach their full potential. What's fascinating is how even mild dehydration can throw things off. Studies show that losing as little as 2% of your body's water content can impair muscle performance. 2%, that's not much. For most people, that can happen just from a few hours in the sun, a light workout, or even forgetting to drink during the day. And for seniors, it's even trickier because the sense of thirst naturally declines with age. By the time you feel thirsty, your body may already be behind on fluids. That's why hydration has to be intentional. You can't just wait until you feel dry in the mouth, because that signal comes too late. Water doesn't just move nutrients around, it also helps regulate temperature. When your muscles are working, they generate heat. Sweating is your body's cooling system, but when you sweat, you lose both water and electrolytes. If you don't replace them, the fluid balance in your muscles shifts and cramps become more likely. That's why people often cramp up more in hot weather, or after exercise, or even after sitting in a warm room for too long. It's not just the heat itself, it's the dehydration and electrolyte loss that come with it. Hydration also plays a role in waste removal. Every time your muscles work, they produce byproducts like lactic acid. In small amounts, that's not a problem. But when waste builds up, it irritates muscle tissue and nerves, making cramps more likely. Water helps flush out those byproducts through your blood and your kidneys. Without enough water, waste lingers longer in your system, and your muscles feel more tense, sore, and prone to spasms. Now, when we say hydration, most people automatically think of plain water. And yes, water is the foundation, but hydration also comes from foods and other drinks. Fruits and vegetables like cucumbers, watermelon, oranges, and celery are incredibly hydrating because they're packed with water and electrolytes. Soups, smoothies, herbal teas, even milk all contribute to your hydration status. For seniors who sometimes struggle to drink enough plain water, including more hydrating foods can make a big difference. It's not just about how many glasses of water you drink. It's about your total fluid intake. Let's connect this directly to leg strength and cramp prevention. Imagine your muscles as sponges. When they're well hydrated, they're soft, pliable, and flexible. They contract and relax smoothly, and nutrients flow in and out easily. But when that sponge dries out, it gets stiff, brittle, and less responsive. That's exactly what happens to your muscles when you're dehydrated. They become less elastic, more prone to tightness, and quicker to spasm. Keeping your muscles hydrated is like keeping that sponge moist. You're preserving flexibility and reducing the chance of painful cramps. Hydration also ties into blood pressure and circulation, which are critical for seniors. Dehydration makes blood thicker, which slows circulation and makes it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your legs. That sluggish flow can leave your muscles starved for fuel, setting the stage for cramps and weakness. Staying hydrated keeps blood moving smoothly, delivering nutrients efficiently, and removing waste just as efficiently. It's the difference between a traffic jam and a clear highway. Your muscles will always perform better on a clear highway. A lot of people ask, how much water should I be drinking every day? And the truth is, it depends. It depends on your body size, your activity level, the weather, and even the medications you're taking. But a good starting point for most seniors is about 6 to 8 cups of fluids per day. That can come from water, tea, milk, fruits, and vegetables combined. The key isn't to obsess over the exact number, but to build habits that keep you steadily hydrated throughout the day. Small sips often work better than chugging a whole glass once in a while. An easy trick is to check the color of your urine. If it's pale yellow, like lemonade, you're likely hydrated. If it's darker, like apple juice, that's a sign you need more fluids. This simple check, it is often more reliable than waiting for thirst, especially as we age. Another good strategy is to link drinking water to habits you already have. For example, have a glass of water when you wake up, one with each meal and one in the evening. That alone can add up to a solid hydration routine. For people dealing with leg cramps specifically, electrolytes matter too. While plain water is essential, sometimes water alone isn't enough, especially if you've been sweating or taking medications that affect your electrolyte balance. That's where foods and drinks with natural electrolytes come in. Coconut water, oranges, bananas, and even a pinch of salt in your food can help restore that balance. Sports drinks are another option, but many have added sugar. So for seniors, natural sources are usually better. The key is balance. Too much water without enough electrolytes can actually dilute your system, but combining fluids with mineral-rich foods keeps everything in harmony. Hydration isn't only about preventing cramps, it also supports muscle recovery and growth. When you exercise, even lightly, your muscles develop tiny microtears. Water helps deliver the amino acids, minerals, and oxygen needed to repair those tears and make your muscles stronger. Without enough water, recovery slows down, soreness lingers, and your progress stalls. This is why athletes are constantly reminded to hydrate, and the same principle applies to seniors who want to maintain leg strength. Another important piece is joint health. Water makes up a large part of the fluid that cushions your joints. When you're dehydrated, that cushioning decreases and your joints feel stiffer and more painful. For seniors who already deal with arthritis or general stiffness, dehydration only makes things worse. Proper hydration keeps joints lubricated, which in turn makes it easier to move and exercise, which then strengthens your legs even more. It's all connected. Hydration even influences your nerves. The signals that travel from your brain to your muscles depend on electrolytes moving through fluid. If your body doesn't have enough fluid, those signals can misfire, leading to spasms and cramps. Proper hydration ensures smooth communication between nerves and muscles. It's not just about keeping the muscle tissue itself healthy, it's also about keeping the whole system that controls it running smoothly. Here's something people don't always realize. Dehydration doesn't always feel like thirst. It can feel like fatigue, irritability, confusion, or even hunger. Sometimes when you think you're hungry, you're actually just a little dehydrated. For seniors, this is especially important to remember because misinterpreting those signals can lead to underhydrating day after day. By the time cramps or weakness show up, your body may have been running low on fluids for a while. Practical strategies can make hydration easier. Keep water within reach throughout the day, whether it's a bottle next to your chair, a glass by your bedside, or a cup on the counter. Flavor your water with lemon, cucumber, or berries if plain water feels boring. Use a straw if that makes sipping easier. Set reminders if you tend to forget. And most importantly, combine hydration with your meals. Eating hydrating foods like soups, salads, and fruits ensures you're getting fluids naturally without having to think about it too much. Hydration also has a rhythm. Drinking too much at once can overwhelm your system, while spacing it out keeps your body in balance. Think of it like watering a plant. If you dump a whole bucket of water on a plant once a week, it won't thrive. But if you give it steady sips every day, it grows strong. Your muscles and nerves are the same way. They don't need floods. They need steady, consistent support. For those who struggle with nighttime cramps, hydration throughout the day is especially important. If you go to bed even slightly dehydrated, your muscles are more likely to spasm while you sleep. A small glass of water in the evening, paired with a potassium-rich snack like half a banana, can make a noticeable difference. Just be mindful of not drinking too much right before bed if it disrupts your sleep. Balance is the goal. Another angle worth mentioning is medication. Many common medications, including diuretics for blood pressure, increase fluid loss. That means seniors on these medications need to be even more aware of hydration. It's not just about replacing what you drink. It's about compensating for what you lose. In these cases, pairing water with mineral-rich foods becomes even more crucial. Hydration is also a key player in energy levels. When your body is short on fluids, your blood can't carry oxygen as efficiently, and your cells struggle to produce energy. That fatigue shows up most in your legs because they're the muscles carrying you through your day. If your legs feel heavy, sluggish, or weak, sometimes the fix is as simple as a glass of water. It's remarkable how often low energy isn't about lack of food, but about lack of hydration. Over time, building hydration into your lifestyle creates a foundation for every other health habit. It makes your diet more effective, your exercise more productive, your sleep more restful, and your body more resilient. It's the base layer that supports everything else. Without it, even the best foods and the best routines can't reach their full potential. That's why hydration truly is the delivery system. It's the piece that makes all the other pieces work together. When we think about foods that strengthen our legs, prevent cramps, and support us as we get older, a lot of people immediately picture fruits and vegetables. Bananas, spinach, oranges, leafy greens, they always get the spotlight. But one food that often gets overlooked, even though it's incredibly powerful, is yogurt. Yogurt